What if the future of the Commanders' defense isn't in the veterans, but in the newcomers? The atmosphere in Washington is one of anticipation, but also tough decisions. And the question behind the scenes is direct. Is Marshawn Lattimore's time with the Commanders running out? After selecting cornerback Trey Amos in the second round of the draft, Adam Peters may have sent a silent but powerful message. Amos' arrival represents more than just depth on the roster. It represents a Plan B. And when a Plan B is that promising, Plan A starts to shake. Lattimore, even with the GM support and hopes of a full offseason to adapt, still carries a worrying injury history. Four-time Pro Bowler, yes, but also 25 games missed over the last 3 years. And with an $18 million contract that can be terminated with little cap impact, the signs are clear. Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, a different controversy stirred fans. The Commanders' wide receivers were heavily criticized by analysts. But J.P. Finley and Brian Mitchell were quick to counter, with arguments that make sense. After all, Deebo Samuel has arrived. Jalen Lane impressed. Michael Gallup could have a resurgence. And the group, already led by Terry McLaurin, now seems more complete than ever. And as if that weren't enough, a new bombshell is gaining momentum. Alvin Kamara to the Commanders? With Derek Carr facing shoulder problems, the Saints may be close to letting go of one of their biggest stars. And for Cliff Kingsbury, Kamara would be a tactical dream. Versatile, explosive, deadly in both the passing and running games. Alongside Jaden Daniels, he could be the X factor that turns talent into titles. Time is ticking, and every move now could mean the difference between a good season and a legendary one. If you enjoyed this analysis and want to keep receiving exclusive content about the Commanders, subscribe to the Commanders Fan News Today channel and hit the notification bell. Here, you stay ahead of everything, before everyone else. But that's where the equation gets even more interesting, because this potential Kamara trade doesn't just affect the offense. It redefines the team's identity. With Jaden Daniels still on a rookie contract, Adam Peters has a rare window in his hands, building a high-level roster without compromising the franchise's financial future. And that's precisely why names like Kamara are more than just temptations. They're strategic opportunities. Imagine an offense with Kamara coming out of the backfield, Lane stretching the field, Deebo confusing coverages, and Terry being Terry. That combination isn't just exciting, it's hard to defend. And most importantly, it creates space for Daniels to grow at the right pace without carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. But like every bold move, this one comes with risks. Taking snaps away from Robinson, fitting Kamara into a new system, justifying the financials for a 29-year-old star. But in Washington, the time for being conservative is over. The fans want answers. The locker room wants wins. And Kingsbury, with his brilliant offensive mind, wants weapons that can cause real damage on the field. On the other side, the Saints are going through their own silent crisis. An aging team, no quarterback stability, and one of their biggest names still producing, but maybe more valuable as a trade asset than as a rebuilding piece. It's that famous phrase, too good to keep, but too expensive to stay. The league has seen this movie before. And most of the time, it ends with a change of address. The truth is, the next few days could be decisive. For Lattimore, for Kamara, for the Commanders, and perhaps for the entire season's fate. And you, fan, do you think it's time to bet big? Or do you still believe the future lies in the names we already know? And while the spotlight remains on Kamara's potential arrival, a disturbing question is beginning to circulate through the corridors of FedEx Field. Are we witnessing the moment the Commanders stop being a promise and become a real threat? Dan Quinn knows that time and patience are rare commodities in the NFL. And Adam Peters does too. This new identity isn't built just with raw talent. It requires courage. Courage to make unpopular decisions. Courage to cut a veteran who's not producing. Courage to let go of the past in the name of the future. And in that context, Marshawn Lattimore and Alvin Kamara become pieces of the same board. One could be leaving, the other arriving. Both representing something bigger, the Commanders' definitive transition to a team that no longer just wants to compete, it wants to win. The locker room feels it. The fans feel it. Analysts are starting to change their tone. What once was skepticism has turned into expectation. What was noise is now headline. Can Lattimore bounce back? Of course. He's talented, experienced, and motivated. But the clock is ticking, and the NFL waits for no one. If Trey Amos delivers, the front office might not hesitate. Can Kamara still be that dominant running back? Yes. And if he arrives, the Commanders send a message to the rest of the league. Washington is all in. Because rebuilds are for the weak. Here, the word is redefinition. And the Commanders are about to show that when a franchise finds identity, vision, and leadership, it can surprise even the most skeptical. If you want to follow every chapter of this electrifying story, you already know, subscribe now to the Commanders Fan News Today channel, turn on notifications, and join us on this journey to the top. A new era has begun, and it's going to be unforgettable. As a Commanders fan, I have to be honest, it's impossible not to be excited about what's happening. For the first time in years, we're not just reacting to the market, we're leading strategic moves. And that has a name and a face, Adam Peters. Seeing the real possibility of Alvin Kamara joining our offense gives me that feeling that something special is about to happen. Can you imagine Kamara in the backfield, threatening runs and catching short passes while Daniels leads with calm and precision? It would be a nightmare for opposing defenses. At the same time, I understand the tension around Marshawn Lattimore. As a fan, I wanted to see him shine in our jersey. But the NFL is ruthless. If he can't stay healthy and perform at a high level, we can't cling to the name. We have to cling to performance. And if Trey Amos is that fresh blood we needed, so be it. Because our window is opening now. I've always believed the Commanders have strong foundation, but now with the right pieces and a front office that knows what it's doing, it's time to be bold, take risks, and believe. Enough of mediocre seasons. Enough of waiting for next year. Our moment is now, and my heart is pounding for it. And you know what excites me the most? It's not just the possibility of seeing Kamara explode down the sidelines or Amos becoming a welcome defensive surprise. It's the feeling that, for the first time in a long while, the Commanders have a clear direction. Dan Quinn brought seriousness. Kingsbury's offensive mind brought boldness. And Adam Peters, well, he's putting together a puzzle that could place Washington not just in the playoffs, but in real contention for something big. And as a fan, there's no better feeling than realizing the team you followed for years is finally moving like an elite franchise. No more decisions without vision. No more trading the present for the past. Now it's all or nothing. If Kamara comes, it will be a sign. A clear warning to the NFC East and the entire NFL. The Commanders aren't just dreaming, they're preparing to dominate. And if Lattimore can silence the critics and show he still has gas in the tank, even better. Because in the end, what we really want is to see that shield shine again. With attitude, with intelligence, with fire in the eyes. This rebuild isn't just technical. It's emotional. It's cultural. It's spiritual. We've waited too long. We've suffered ups and downs. Now it's time to believe. And more than that, it's time to demand. Because we have a star quarterback. We have a GM who understands talent. And if all goes well, we'll have one of the most dangerous backfields in the league. And as a fan, I say with all certainty, we've never been this close. We've never been this ready. And look, if you think this is just fan hype, I get it. We've had false hopes before. We've seen promises that never came true. Rebuilds that never took off. Coaches who arrived with strong speeches and left no legacy. But this time, something feels different. It's as if each piece, no matter how small, is being placed in the right spot, at the right time. And best of all, with purpose. Trey Amos may not be a nationally known name yet, but those who follow him closely know what he's capable of. Zone pressure, quick reads, physicality to compete with the league's best. He's not here to just fill the roster. He's here to challenge hierarchies. And Kamara, he doesn't need to prove anything. If he comes, it's to lead, to be a reference, to make Jaden Daniels an even more dangerous quarterback. Just imagine, RPOs, play-action screens, designed runs. The tactical arsenal Kingsbury would have would be one of the most versatile in the NFL. And that's exactly what's at stake now, versatility. Youth, experience, pressure, boldness. All blended into a team that, finally, seems to have awakened to the greatness it can achieve. And I ask you, fan, are you ready for this? Because the team is, the front office is, and the locker room is beginning to breathe a different air. It's time to leave fear behind and embrace change. If you believe this is the season everything can change, then don't miss a step of this journey. Subscribe now to Commanders Fan News today. Turn on notifications and come with us. Because when this turning point happens, you'll want to say you were here from the beginning.